welcome to Naughty Nautilus. My name is Corinne and I'm finally here to do an update on my quilting. Welcome to all who choose to watch this video. I know if you're someone who's into the quilting, it's been a long time. If you're cross stitch and you didn't know I did quilting, well, I do quilting. Part of the reason it's been so long, I think my last update was, it would have been earlier in the year. Maybe I did one in like February, beginning March. I don't remember exactly. But part of the reason I hadn't had much of updates was because I wasn't quilting. I wasn't really sewing or anything like that. It turns out a medication I was taking basically had me... The medication made it so I had no energy, so I didn't want to sew. And then I ran out of it, and suddenly I had all this energy to start sewing. So it's time. I figured I was way overdue. I don't have a ton to show you, but I figured let's get back on track. So I should also add, it's Friday, June 26th. I always forget the date. So this is going to be sort of what I've done since the last update. It's not a whole lot, like I said. I did finish a quilt. Last time you saw it, I think it was in pieces. Like I said, I probably should have looked, but I didn't. But I did finish my Put a Ring on It by Latifa Safir. So, yeah, you would have seen it in pieces, but I have it finished here. So there's no way I'm going to be able to show this to you as a whole. But I'll put a picture here of what the quilt looks like. And I just did some simple quilting with what I had at home. It's already covered in cat hair too. So the pattern is Put a Ring on It by Latifa Safir. I had a fat quarter of line work by Tula Pink from ages ago, and I used a gray work. I forgot the exact name, but it's the lighter color of the Fairy Frost design in light gray, and I just used that as my binding as well. But you can kind of see, I mean, these are giant. I use the 24-inch and the 16-inch clammy. But you can do this with the 10 and the 12-inch. But I went for the big ones, so they're gigantic for these rings. There. You know, they make a big one in the middle there, which you can kind of see. For the quilting, I just used some different kind of pastels I use cotton and steel. Primarily quilting threads. I get a quarterly Ruby Star Society bundle from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I get a spool of thread with it. So I have quite a collection of them, and so I try to just pull from that. So I used a couple different colors. It's kind of a, I don't know how well you can see it, it's like a palish purple. So I followed the outside of the rings, and I did the inside of the rings. And that one is a light green. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure it out there. And I have one of my cats here. And then, so I just kind of followed the rings. And then for the background, I did some diagonal lines in a light purple. So it just kind of gives it some texture for it. And then, like I said, I used the same on the back, but I went for some color, or sorry, for the binding I used the same gray work, but for the back I went for some color. I couldn't go completely black and white and gray. This is another Tula Pink. I forgot the name of it, but I bought this as a backing, knowing I was going to make I was eventually going to make a Tula Pink quilt. So there is that one. So that's my big finish, and I haven't washed it yet. I finished it, I took some pictures, and I threw it on my couch. So I do need to wash it. I always look forward to the washing and the crinkles you get, but this is pre-crinkles, and it's kind of cool. You fold it in quarters, you get your ring there. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. It will probably not be my only time I do this pattern. Like I said, there's different sizes, and then I did the rings in 2 pieces. They have ones for multiple pieces across, so you could get really crazy and fun with it, which I might do someday. So yeah, so that's my finish. We'll talk about this really quick. I am very slowly working on an English paper piecing project using scraps. So this is what I've got. So this is all leftover bits from that same fabric. Obviously, I have not been doing that much. I think I just added, I think last time I might have showed you one of these. I added the second one and started attaching it to the middle piece. I have since cut more pieces. It's just a cardstock. Whatever colors I had, just cut a bunch using my Cricut so that I can just start to make a bunch as I wish. There's no plan well, there's a tentative plan of I need however many to go there. It's going to be long term. The goal is to use scraps. I have, I don't know where it is, from when I did my big curve sampler, I have a bunch of really weird sized pieces left over from that, all still in the box. And so I do intend to kind of go through that and see about making some more of these as we go along. So that is still ongoing, but nothing really crazy going on. I'm still sort of kind of working on socialites. This is the free sew along from the Fat Quarter Shop. I think we're up to, well, why don't I look? They've released up to block 18 of 25. I have done 10 blocks. I don't know where I was last time. I know I had shown you a few. This is kind of was one of the victims of not even feeling like sewing. So like this was block 1, 2, and I'm using a Fat Quarter bundle I bought from Joann when it was closing. Well, it was a clearance one before they even closed. And so I only have 12 flat quarters, so it's going to be more monochromatic. They're all pinks and purples and a little bit of blue. So this is my bundle. The original pattern, I'm doing the 3.5 inch squares. It said you could use a layer cake. And I decided that there's probably enough fabric in these to do the same, especially if you're just cutting little pieces. And then I'm using scrap batik white from a quilt kit that I just had done a couple years ago. And then I have 2 different blue batiks on a bolt. One is a very dark solid and one is kind of a bluish green. Well, actually, spoiler alert, it's this color. I'm going to use that as the accent. So yeah, so I just have quite a few of them in just various shades, and I kind of just pick whatever colors I feel like. I did lay it out recently, kind of where these are going to go in the quilt, trying to balance colors. Like this one comes off more purple blue, so if I know one's going to be near this, I might go more pink, kind of trying to balance the colors a little bit, but also not going too crazy. They're little blocks. My seams are not perfect, but to me it's a good test of my skills to see how I do on 3.5 inch blocks. There. So, and when you look at this one, you can see I didn't properly, it's not fully lined up there, but we'll make it work. I plan to make this into a wall hanging, so I'm not too worried about it being like super strong. And I did show those to you in order. So I am trying to work through catching up. I think one was released today, which I haven't looked at, so actually I guess technically we're up to 19. And then there is a break next week for the 4th of July holiday. So we'll see if I can get a few more. Usually I sit down and do 2 or so at a time to try to catch up. So maybe over the next couple of weeks I will actually get caught up for it. Like I said, there's 25 total. This is that layout, and I started coloring it and then I got lazy. But so I've done up to here on the quilt, so the first almost 3 rows, and we are up to here, or I guess we're probably here now. There. So hopefully I will finish this relatively quickly. I will probably just use whatever batik I use as the accent color as a backing. Again, I am making it a wall hanging, so I don't really care as much what it is. We'll see whatever I have enough of. If you're new here, or if it's just been so long, I have quite a stash of fabric. You know, I'll put a picture in of what I have, at least on the bolts, or a yard or more I have stored. I have a cabinet there. So I have quite a bit of fabric. I kind of went a little crazy, and that's just the quilting cotton. Except one bolt I have in my closet behind me because it's going to be a backing for a quilt. And it didn't fit in my cabinet. So that doesn't include the smaller cuts or anything like that. But I have a lot of fabric, and I'm really trying to work through it. So yeah, the only other older project is the quilt I'm working on for my stepmother. So bear with me. It stays safe in a garbage bag, and I forgot to pull it out. So I'm going to pause while I pull it out to avoid the noise. Okay, so last time we spoke, I think I had just shown the top. I did purchase the backing, so we got our approved colored backing. It is a satin, so it's kind of interesting. So I got it all sandwiched, ready to go, and then I had to work on tying it. And I've never tied a quilt. So I had to do a little research on that, but I just used anchor floss. I have a stash of anchor embroidery floss, and so I just grabbed 2 spools, random colors. I figured we'll mix it up, it's fine, I don't care. And you can see kind of where the ties are on the back. You can see the color a little bit, and some of them have wider and some are smaller, but it kind of gives a cool texture to the back. And this quilt is huge. And let me see what I can show you without unraveling the whole thing, but so it's got these kind of diamonds, so I've just tied it anywhere you've got these 6 coming together, and you can kind of see the thread there. And since you've got all this hand stitching, it kind of just blends in with all of it there. So I did manage to get the whole thing tied. What it needs now is binding. So that's the next plan there. I'm not gonna pull the whole thing out, but that is ongoing for that. So I'm gonna backing is gonna come around, become the binding, and then there's gonna be a hand stitch detail on the binding. So first things first, get it bound, then I can work on the hand stitching, and then I need to make a label for it as well. But I got the tying done, which was good because this is a huge quilt. And I do want to keep it going. All right, we're going to leave that there for right now. I'll clean it up afterwards. The last thing, I started a new quilt. I have quite a few that need quilting, but that's my least favorite part. And it can be challenging with only 11 inches of throat space, limited skill in quilting, and sometimes wrist pain. So I kind of try to break it up. I need to work on other things in between, so I needed a new project. I decided on, this one has been in the plans. This is Cat Holes by So Fresh Quilts. I'm going to show you my kind of crazy copy where I've annotated things. But this is the 2 versions of the pattern. I'm making this one, the larger one. and I'm making it for my nephew. So I had been debating what colors to make and was like, oh, I'm going to need more fabric. His favorite color is red. I don't have red in my stash. And then I thought about it and realized that I have a collection of novelty fabrics that I bought when Joann was closing that I have never used. And I don't know how I'm going to use them, because it's like, how do you use novelty fabrics? And I decided this is the way. So I pulled several different ones. So I have like these chili peppers. I guess they go this way. I have hot sauce and other spicy things. We have sushi. I have scraps. I have this, I have a lot of this one, this Star Wars fabric. This was a clearance one, again, before the store even went out of business, and I bought a yard, and then I went back and was like, no, I want it all. So I bought it all from the store, which is why I have a lot of it. And then two more. This one here, ramen. And this one actually didn't come from Joann. This I got from a D-stash from a friend. They are bagels. So I kind of picked some, and I sent it to him and was like, or sent it to my sister and asked her if they would work for him or not. And then I looked at what I had more neutral. I didn't want to do white or black. And so I settled on the Petite. Grab one of them. So I started making them, but it's this kind of bluish, sometimes green, a little purple. And I think it complements the fabrics quite well. I was looking for something that was going to make all of these pop, and I had some light colors, some dark, and I think this turned out really well. So this is, sorry, all the cats have names. This is Ethel. So this is the bagel Ethel. So I just basically going to do 2 cats per print there, and I'm pretty happy with it. I was a little unsure because the bagel's a bit of a larger print, but I think it shows up very nice on there. And these are, I have them tentatively placed where they're going to go in the finished quilt. Here's the ramen Ethel, so you can see with this one, you know, I was darker here. I did have to change the color of the eyes, and I picked this yellow, and it kind of looks weird. I might embroider like a cat eye on it or something to make it look a little better, because from the distance it's just like, what's going on? We'll go here. We'll get to the other one. This is Sally, made of hot sauce. There, and I used 2 different pinks. I probably could have used one, but I decided to mix it up and be a little more scrappy. So we have a hot pink and a light pink, kind of mixing them up between the prints there. Stare at my, there she goes. Here's our chili peppers. And I did, if I could, with being efficient for fabric, tried to keep the prints upright, or directional prints upright. I assembled the face upside down, and I decided I was not going to rip it out and try to fix it. I don't think you really can tell. There. My design wall is one of those Fawns and Porter hangable design walls, and it's over my closet, so if I don't smooth them down, sometimes my blocks fall, or oftentimes I'll pin them. That's also why I don't leave it up all the time, because it is blocking a closet and my blocks tend to fall. Here's my Star Wars Ethel, which is, again, this is another one where the directional, I tried where I could, but it doesn't always work out, and I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, you always want your prints to be nice, but, you know, sometimes things don't happen that way. And I just realized this is Sushi Sally. Say that 10 times fast. So I like this one because you do get a nice block of the background. You can see how pretty it is, like the detail in that batik there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. So this is half the blocks done. So I've got 6 more to do here. These ones, so they're looking left and right. That is Fred. They're both named Fred. One's just Fred left, Fred right. And if you notice, the Sally, one of them faces a different direction than the other, so there's some variety there. So the ones I showed you, I've used each print once. So Fred, there's going to be 1 each of those. So we are going to finish those out, get them together. And then I'm going to decide on a backing fabric. I have a tentative idea of what I'm going to do. It's another novelty print I have a whole yard of. Or not a whole yard, a whole bolt of. Like I said, I went a little crazy. So yeah, that's the plan. After that, I do want to pick a top. I think I'm looking at my board. I have 6 quilts to bind, to quilt and bind. So I'm going to pick one and probably quilt it. I am running low on my batting, so I do have to think about that. I will probably have to buy some batting soon, which I'm going to have to figure out how to budget. I have a rule. I don't want to go back to buying individual bags. It's not cost efficient, but I do have to figure out how many more quilts I can do with the batting I have before I need to buy more. Yeah, I have one bit of haul that is quilting related, but I have to grab it, so just a moment. All right, so my one bit of major haul. I've been on a minimal buying for about a year now. I have been, technically I'm underemployed. So I've been only working part-time, but based on my education, I should be working more. So I don't have as much funds as normal. So I've really cut back on the spending for hobbies as a result. This is my one splurge. I pre-ordered this, and this is my birthday present, but I only recently got it. But I could not get this fabric. So I bought a half-yard bundle of Fire Glow. I was obsessed. I needed it. I'm so glad I pre-ordered it because it's sold out. So I have it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I was telling some quilting friends, I don't know which of these is my favorite. Like, I can't decide because dragons, I mean, this one, absolutely love. You get your swirls. I like these ones too, these like little medallions. These would be so fun to fussy cut in there. Kind of metallic with those dragons. We have our metallic dragons, kind of a blue and teal. Love it. This one surprised me. I didn't know I was going to like this one as much. When I saw it, I was like, oh, they're like little villages. But like the little sketchiness, looks like she sketched out little drawings, and I just think it's so cool. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to when I saw it in person. We have that one. I think this is the one too that really made me fall in love with that. This kind of gray, and you get the gold in there. Just stunning. So we are looking at some of these as the same, but in different color combos, different colorways. There. You gotta love a good, like, just textural color with a line. These ones, like, you can see the shine from the metallic there. And then we've got a dark dragon scale. This one. And yeah, it's like trying to make sure you can see the pattern on this one. And then she gets you with, here's pink and red. If I have red, it's kind of like this in my collection. And it's probably because most of my stash, or a big chunk of my stash, if it's not novelty, it's Ruby Star Society. This one. That's probably pretty accurate on color. We're working with weird lighting today. Again, this one. This print, but we got red with the gold. Ooh, you can kind of see it there. That one's harder to capture correctly. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it. That one's hard to focus. We've got our red dragons. This is a true red. There. And then we've got sort of a purpley, pinky red dragon. And then the purple kind of swirl. So quite a bit of yardage there. No idea what I'm going to do with it yet. I have an idea for modifying a free pattern. I'll put the picture in. But this is, it was designed for a different line for Tulip Pink, but I think it might look really cool with this fabric. I don't know. I need to explore it more. I need to see if I can get the colors the way they need to be. You know, those patterns, or that pattern is written for, you buy this much of this particular print, and you do, you know, it goes all the way around. I would have to be a bit more scrappy with it. So I need to sit and figure out the math. I just haven't done it yet. I have another pattern. I have the Tula Nova by, well, Tula Pink. And I did debate if I could figure that out with these, but I had another idea. Another line that I'm kind of really want is Tula Pink's Floral Reef. I've kind of mapped out what I would need to do that in the Tula Nova, so I kind of want to do that one, and I don't know that I want to make two big EPP blankets quilts. So no plans right now for this one. Right now we're just going to hoard it like I was the dragon hoarding fabric, and see what inspires me. I have a couple of patterns. I have a stash of patterns that I'm always looking for, and I'm trying to embrace being more scrappy and working from my stash. So yeah, I have a couple quilts where I've got fabric for them. I've got patterns, so I might start some. We'll see as we go through. I have some tentative, maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't, something like that, but nothing concrete right now. So yeah, hopefully it will not take me so long. I lost one of my lights. I have a light that it turns off after a certain amount of time. It's kind of annoying. I have no real plans for specific patterns or whatnot. since I have been feeling better, I'm hoping I will get more done. So we're gonna see. We'll see what July has for me. Perhaps I will be back at the end of July, early August with a quilting update. Otherwise, it might be late August. I was doing about every other month before because I just was not getting as much done sewing-wise. It might be August. I have a non-sewing project that needs some time and focus. I don't want to share about it in the off chance that somebody I know happens upon my videos, because we have a costume party associated with fantasy football drafting, and I want to keep it a surprise until then. So I may have a little less time for other crafting as I work on that, so we'll see. So maybe early August, maybe late August for the next update. If that's all you're here for, thank you so much. I hope you will be back whenever I get back. If you like cross stitching, I also have those updates. I will have my June update for my cross stitching next week. So I hope I will see you then. If you want a little bit of life update, I'll give you one. I kind of gave one at the beginning, but I will probably go over this again in my FlossTube as well. So if you don't want to stick around today, want to hear it more next week, or you don't want to listen to it at all, that's fine by me. All right, as I said, work's been work. I unfortunately did not get that job I had an interview for. It is what it is. I still have some work right now, so I am still job hunting, trying to figure out what that's going to be. So right now, still a lot of time, actually, because I'm only working 2 days a week, and it's primarily in the mornings, so I have a lot of free time, which is why I've been getting a lot of crafting done. But on the other side of things, as I said, I was on a medication, went off of it because I ran out, and where I live, most businesses close, or a lot of the weekday businesses and offices close at noon on Fridays, and I did not get a chance to get it refilled. When over the weekend, realized that I felt more like myself and I had more energy not on the medication, so I have not been inclined to call and get it refilled. I did not think it was helping with what I was dealing with. So yeah, and then dealing with the cost of medication. So I've been working to try to get it on a different medication for that condition, and it's been a challenge to get financial assistance. The nice thing is, I finally have that assistance, so hopefully we can get this condition. It's probably going to take a couple of months to get it to fully go away, but it is what it is. I'm happy to be moving towards the next steps. So yeah, nothing, like I said, rather boring. I don't do much, but yeah, so kind of more of the same. Hopefully we'll see more productive work and a lot of things, but yeah. My cat is sitting and he's about to knock something over, so I'm going to move that something. I have a window right here, and they have a big old cushion, and they love to sit out, and you get like the afternoon sun coming in, so it's one of their favorite places to be. But yeah, so that's it. It's a relatively short update. I didn't have a lot to show. Thanks once again for coming by and watching my video, and I hope to see you either in my FlossTube next week or the next time I get to updating my quilting. Thank you for stopping by again.